Welcome, y'all, to the fourth season of the Heartland Author Podcast. I am Aaron Apollo Camp, the host of the Heartland Author Podcast. For those of you new to the podcast, I self-published my first book nearly 2 years ago, and I am currently writing multiple books in fiction, nonfiction, and poetry categories. In this episode, I must be the bearer of bad news once again. This time, it's about looming supply chain issues in the print industry that could affect authors. Last week, Draft2Digital warned members of their print distribution service for self-published authors that supply and labor shortages, as well as transportation issues, could cause delays for those seeking to have physical books printed. I will quote 2 paragraphs of the email Draft2Digital sent out last week verbatim. Our print partner has informed us that they are preparing for disruptions to various aspects of the print industry, including labor and supply shortages, as well as transportation issues. Manufacturing supply shortages and labor shortages for the transport of goods are all factors that impact print on demand as an industry, and these are unfortunately outside the control of our print partner. Draft2Digital then went on to acknowledge that their print partner was taking steps to try to minimize disruption for authors seeking to self-publish print books via their print platform. Anyone who has been in a grocery store since early last year is familiar with product shortages at the grocery store, and as the COVID-19 pandemic has continued, those product shortages are unfortunately not going away. Many different industries have been affected by product shortages. For the paper and printing industries, shortages in wood pulp, the core ingredient of paper, are going to have ripple effects in any industry that uses paper products, including the book printing industry. Furthermore, there have been shortages in shipping containers used to transport goods across oceans, and here in the U.S., there's a shortage of truck drivers, which further affect many different industries, including the book printing industry. Hopefully, once the COVID-19 pandemic eases, these supply chain issues will become less severe. This is Aaron Apollo Camp reminding y'all to write your imagination, and hopefully there will be paper to print your work once you're ready to publish. Bye for now. You can learn more about me and my book writing projects at authoraac.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter at authoraac. You can also watch videos on the Heartland Author channel on YouTube. Copyright 2021, Aaron Apollo Camp, all rights reserved. This podcast episode is intended for the private listening of its audience. Any reuse or retransmission of this podcast episode without the express written consent of the podcast host is prohibited except under fair use guidelines. Royalty-free music and sound effects obtained from https://www.zapsplat.com.